All right, everything's a mess. Music in the back is Shout Out Factory, is the YouTube channel. It's Devo's Uncontrollable Urge. All right, in order for this to happen, I got to move fast here so I don't have to edit. All right, first thing we're going to do is we are going to set this to 350 for preheat. Oven set at 350 for preheat. Check it out. Racks in the middle. Next thing we're going to do is get out some butter. We're going to need a stick of butter. And we're going to need this pan. Alright, so we're going to make this move along as fast as we can. So pay attention. All the ingredients are out. We got flour, brown sugar, baking soda, a little bit of pinch of salt. I just use 5 bananas. I'm using 4.5 because my wife took a chunk off of one. You see the bananas are really brown. Overripe bananas are where it's at for this because the sugars are up and it tastes way better. I am using the butter right now like a pencil to grease my pan. This is, I find, is the easiest way to do it. And again, the music in the background is Devo Uncontrollable Urge, which is Devo's great music to speed cook by. Alright. Oh, and in case you haven't noticed what we're making, we are making a very special banana bread for those who indulge. Alright, we're going to put this in here. You can go in there. Let me get this off of my hands. Okay, now, our pan is greased. That is very important, and I always do that first so I don't forget. Alright, put our pan over here. Flour's already in there. I got 2 cups of flour. I should probably throw the list of ingredients in the description. That's where you'll find it. 2 cups all-purpose flour. 3/4 of a cup light brown sugar is what I use. You can use dark, but it's a little too molassesy flavored for me. And I believe in consistency and doing the same thing every day. Yes, I keep my flour in the fridge. Alright, now we're going to get right to the magic part because this needs to be done first. We're going to take the butter and we're going to melt it. It's not exactly how they call to do it. Heads up, buddies, my dog's in the way. But I find this is the best way to do it because we're relying on the butter and the oils in the butter to carry over our awesomeness of our product here, of our flour matter. Straight from a dispensary. This is a full ace. THC is like 31% or something like, I don't know, I can't even read it. But right into the blender. Okay, and this is important. Alright, because I want to get that really fine. You gotta let it go down, do it again. Can you see how fine this is getting here? There, I gotta go like this because of how the camera is, but you see that fine dust? So we're gonna do that. We're gonna go right back here. Gonna get another fork out. We're gonna go right to the butter. We are melting our butter entirely right now. Do another 30 seconds. All right, now let's move along so we can get some other stuff put away. That's done for now. This is sort of kind of a thing that I'm doing here. It makes your life mix easier. All right, one of the few times you'll ever see me use salt is going to be in baking. It's kind of a requirement. There's an old expression that baking is come on out of there, salt. There it goes. Ooh, it's overspilling. 1/4 tablespoon of salt, and see what I'm doing, spreading it around. You shake it out around. You're gonna need a teaspoon. No, Odin. Gonna need a teaspoon. Of course, my dog's deciding now to go out, right? Teaspoon of baking soda from this giant box of baking soda. We actually use quite a bit of baking soda in our house. I'm just gonna do this. There we go. teaspoon of baking soda. And again, if you spread it out over the top of everything, it does save you a little headache and worrying about your good mixing. Put the baking soda away. That's why she had it on its side, I guess. All right, and put my salt away. And we're gonna move along. Devo's version of Satisfaction by the Stones, classic, absolutely great. Built my generation, music like this. These guys showing up and doing this on Saturday Night Live was a mind-blowing moment for music in the world. All right, hang on there, Odes. All right, we're almost there. So what we're gonna do is, I think we might be there. What we're gonna do now, we gotta get our rubber spatula out, and we're gonna get as much of this stuff out as possible. And we're gonna get it right into the butter, okay? So what we're doing here is we're taking our time, and we're really getting everything off the edges of the blender. Static is gonna hold a lot of that material up. And in it goes, baby. And then you're gonna see I'm gonna take the blender apart. We're gonna really, you know, plus it's oily. All right. Nice. All right. All right. Getting it out. Now we're gonna put you here. I'm gonna take my blender apart over this bowl. No, Odin, my dog is ringing his bell to go out, of course, as soon as I start this, right? Odin, I'm on a mission, buddy. Every little crumb we gonna get out of there. Don't waste this stuff, especially when it's made so fine. So fine. All right, let's get you over here. And we're looking pretty good as far as the butter's concerned. All right, now we get that out. What I'm gonna do so I don't forget real quick is I'm gonna turn the flour in with the salt and the baking soda. I do an edge turn like this. This is how I do it, and I stir, and then I do an edge turn again, and I'll do that a bunch of times, and it helps really get everything nicely spread throughout. Trying not to make a huge mess when I do it. Okay, that's done. All right. Now we're gonna take this and we are gonna mix this in with the butter. Anybody who's ever done any baking with butter, or anybody who's ever done any cooking with hooch, understands what's going on here. It's all about the oils absorbing the cannabis, and then there's a reaction when it cooks or something like that. I don't know. I just know that this is like the home run winner for me when I make banana bread as to how I'm doing this. All right, we're gonna put you way over here, and I'm just gonna put this in for about 15 more seconds, 20 seconds. Go 20, and that ought to do it. All right, we're moving along here, just so you know. Just put it right in here. You know, if you have anything you can find residue left over, just put it in your flour. All right, that's mixed. All right, yeah, we're getting there. This is number one bowl is mixed, okay? It's just like a 2-bowl system to do this. The next thing we need to do is we cream our butter in with our brown sugar. Joe Jackson on there, we were listening to him the other day. It's because it's a playlist. All right, we're gonna take our butter, in it goes. We're just gonna clean that out. This is why I use a rubber spatula, man, because you really want to get this stuff well taken care of. You really don't want to waste any. It's nice and hot. Oh, it smells so lovely too. Okay, oh, it's not yet, buddy. It's gonna be a minute. But poor guy. All right, we're gonna mix this in with the butter, the brown sugar, the butter and the brown sugar, mixing together. A nice even mix. Okay. Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there, Odes. Next thing we're gonna do is whip our eggs, and that's so that they get an even mix in. That's 2 large eggs. Again, the oven's on 350. I know I'm repeating myself. There it goes. All right. Whipped. Get rid of that fork. Get our egg out. This is kind of precise because it's baking. That's why I use a rubber spatula on everything. You don't have to do that, but I'll tell you what, I feel it makes a big difference in my product. We're gonna mix that in. All right. Beautiful. Mix it in with the eggs nicely. All right, now here come the bananas. We're gonna need a bowl for our scrap. Now my wife has already cut the end off of one of these babies. These are super mushy and soft. And just because it was exposed to the air, see how brown that is? That's fine. That doesn't matter. But where it was exposed to the air, there, no good for me. These things are so sweet, like they reek of banana flavor wherever you go. And they've been bruised up a little bit. They're really slippery too, which just makes it mean it's going to be absolutely extra delicious. Just so you know, I can already tell. So we're going to use all of these bananas. These are what I would consider to be fairly large bananas. I actually do age my bananas. I get them like a week before, and then when the time is right, I do some cooking. All right, get rid of you. Now this recipe calls for 2 1/3 cups. I, however, just use 4 or 5 bananas. All right. And you just mash them with a fork, baby. Just like this. Woo! Mash, mash, mash. Good music for mashing here. I hope I don't get copyrighted because that's so loud. I should probably turn that down. But we'll get to that in a second. Yeah, let's do that. So that maybe we can avoid it so far by talking enough, and we'll just bring the volume down. Hey, yeah. That's better. Okay, Odie, I'll be there in a second. We're almost there, buddy. So you really whip these bananas up. That's why you use a fork. You want to mutilate them and make it a mush. A lot of people will use a blender for this. I find that this works better for whatever reason if I just do it by hand, all of the mixing. I think it has something to do with the air coming out of the flowers and stuff. So there you go. All right, look at that. Whipped. Yeah, it's lumpy, but I'm going to tell you something. Even though it's got some lumps in it, that's kind of adds to the... There we go. All right, Rudy Can't Fail. One of my favorite Clash songs coming on. Okay. All right, if you're watching this and it ends up multiple parts, that's because my editing software sucks. And I don't want to edit. So I just go in sections of the GoPro. So I think we're going to make this in 2 pieces. This and the getting out. All right. Yeah. Okay. We are going fine here. Almost there, guys. right. Quick rinse. Man, find a job in the paper. I need someone for a savior. Rudy can't fail. All right, we're gonna whip the living daylights out of these. There we go. All right, keep whipping, 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 whipping. Get it nice and mushy. It becomes liquidy on top. You'll know when it's ready because it comes like, it goes from like solidy chunks to like, it almost gets like a floating hydration on top. I don't know how else to, like a liquid. All right, the faster you whip, the faster it happens. Look at that, super sweet. Like it smells so sweet right now. What a great banana odor. All right, fork goes in, and we're gonna put that in here. Now this is important. This is like a super important step to not booger up. I've done my dries and my wets in 2 separate bowls, for the exception of the hooch, which went in with the butter to mix it in. Again, Verilife, Ware, Massachusetts is where I got mine, or Cape Cod Cannabis in Eastham. Even though I don't live in Massachusetts. My flour and stuff is already done, but this, you don't want to over mix it when you put it in the flour. So it's important that all this stuff is really well mixed together before you mix it in the flour. Okay? There's a lot of conjecture as to which way to go. Do you put the flour in this, or do you put this in the flour? Me personally, I put this in the flour. Sorry, I had to get a whiff. I put this in the flour, and I don't worry about it. And the reason I do that is because I can clean the bowl better, I feel, when I'm all done. All right. What's that, like a 9x5 pan that I use there? Bread tin. It's a standard size bread that I'm using, that this batch is made for. Again, the ingredients will be in the description. So you see what I mean, like how clean you can get a bowl with this, and you're not wasting anything.